Hey guys, it's Nija. So I have a really cool video for you guys today. I'm going to be titling it Onward, and essentially these are just some codes that were downloaded into me, basically talking about the forward progression of humanity and how things are going to look moving forward. So as always, I wrote some notes, and hopefully I can get this all recorded before my phone dies, because my phone is like on 15% and I don't have a charger with me. But the downloads came and I had to share. Okay, the first code or message that I have to share for you guys: compassion. Compassion is literally like currency. Compassion is like currency. Compassion and also love are the new 5D technologies, and I don't mean to say new, I just mean like we're going to be heavily influenced by this knowing now that love really is the answer. Love and oneness and unity is the key. Compassion will free yourself, and not just yourself, but will free others. And I'm going to break down to you guys what this means, but why this code is so big is because we're going to be able to move on as a species once we understand how to be compassionate, have compassion, show compassion for ourselves and for others. And also, once we learn how to do that, we're going to be able to live in love, aka, again, existing in the 5D. So yes, this is some things that I wrote down. Compassion equals judgment free, okay? To truly be compassionate, you must remove the judgment, okay? And there's two angles that I'm going to talk about this from. The first and most important is judgment to ourselves. We judge ourselves extremely harshly. Extremely harshly. And because we judge ourselves extremely harshly, we judge other people extremely harshly. Okay? And I'll give you an example. I had this friend who used to always point out when somebody was gaining weight. Like, she would be like, oh my God, that person is really gaining weight. Oh my gosh, that person is really letting themselves go. Oh my God, that, like really pointing out other women's, I guess, like, we don't know what's going on in their lives. They could be, stress eating, emotional eating. Maybe they're pregnant. We don't know, right? But I just had this friend who always felt the need to point out these things in other women. And then I had this light bulb moment go out, because every time I would hear her, this is the kind of person I used to be. When I would hear one of my friends like kind of bashing or talking down on somebody, I used to be the kind of person to either laugh about it as a way to like, oh yeah, haha, that's funny, as a way to push it to the side. Like, I'm not going to say anything to agree, but I'm just not going to, I'm just going to laugh it off. But then I realized laughing it off, even if that is not genuine to me, because I personally don't have a problem with other people's, like, I'm not looking at a woman and being like, oh my God, you really let yourself go. So this kind of put a light bulb off in myself to understand and realize, because we are all mirrors. So the things that we cast out and point out in other people, this is really how we feel about ourselves. So I understood then that she's pointing out the fact that this person had gained weight, because not because she thinks herself has gained weight, but because in her head, looks are very important, and she would scrutinize herself and scrutinize her own looks. Therefore, she was able to scrutinize someone else's looks. Okay, you understand the validity? Like, if I can point out the flaws in somebody else, it's because I myself point out this flaw within myself. And because I hold myself to this standard, I will now hold other people to this standard. But that is not showing compassion, and that is not being judgment free. And I understood that. And I'm understanding that when we remove judgment from ourselves, we no longer feel the need to judge others. We don't. There's no need to judge others when we no longer judge ourselves. I'll give you another example. Let's say, okay, this happens all the time. Like, you see a homeless person standing on the side of the road, and they're like, have a sign like, oh, please help me, give me some money, give me whatever you can give me, whatever, right? And a lot of us in our heads, when we see that homeless person, we right off the bat go to judging. Oh, this is not even a real occupation. You guys are making all this money sitting on the side of the road. Like, you might not even really be in need. Like, I have needs too. Like, why do you get to take money and I have to work for money? You know, like, this toxic spiral of conversation that happens because we do not show compassion to others. And do you know why we don't have compassion to others? Because we don't have compassion for ourselves. Because we scrutinize ourselves. We say, I don't have enough money in the bank. Why don't you have enough money in the bank? Why don't you work harder at work? Why don't you have a regular job? Why, you know, like, really scrutinizing ourselves. Therefore, because we judge ourselves, we judge others. It's like we are a mirror. If you're going to talk trash about somebody else, it's because you will talk trash about yourself. If you talk trash about the fact that you see a lady on the side of the road and she has a bonnet in her, like, she has a bonnet on and she looks ratchet and you know, like, she's not really dressed to be out in public, we're judging her because we ourselves would feel judged and would judge ourselves to walk out of the house and do the very same thing, okay? A lack of compassion, a lack of love. When we have true love and compassion for every situation, we don't feel the need to point out the flaws in others. We just don't, because we don't feel the need to point out the flaws in ourselves, okay? So, I have to talk more about this because this is a really big topic, but I'm going to keep moving. Compassion equals judgment free. Learn to stop judging yourself so you can stop judging others. And this is going to not only quicken your manifestation ability, but it's so much more than manifestation ability. It's going to help you to evolve faster as a consciousness and as a spirit, okay? So let's keep it moving. Compassion and love are the 5D concepts that solidify oneness, okay? This idea of oneness. We are all pieces, bits, and fragments of the one, the all, source, God. We're all fragments and little pieces of the one, okay? So we're all Christ consciousness or God consciousness in our own physical vessels, in our own avatars. Now, again, everybody is not real. We've got NPCs in this world. We've got X, Y, and Z's in this world, right? Like, everybody is just not everybody, okay? And this makes me think about the 144,000. So whenever I say that, that's kind of why I'm saying it, okay? Everybody's just not all there. Some people are just NPCs. Some people are just bots, right? And it's okay. We need bots because they also serve as like friction to help us to wake up faster. If there were no bots, if there were no friction, we would basically not feel the need to evolve. We would all stay the same. But because we feel the discourse from the bots, we also can look within and transform ourselves. Okay, I'm rambling. Let's continue. Okay, the next thing I said is everyone has the right to their own creation because everyone is God consciousness, okay? Everyone who is real here is God consciousness. They incarnated into their physical vessels for a reason. They are here for a reason. They are serving a higher purpose. And you do not know what their higher purpose is. I do not know what their higher purpose is. Only they know what their higher purpose is. And sometimes we do not even know what our own higher purpose is. Again, therefore we judge others. So I'm just highlighting this here so that we can begin to stop doing this so that we can get to the next chapter or get to the next phase. All these downloads are all about getting to the next phase, okay? And there's no rush to get to the next phase. Like, we're all going to get there when we're supposed to get there. But these are just like a little bit of like nuggets that will help us to easily transmutate energy faster so that we can begin to evolve in this way. Okay, so now I want to talk about some movies because you guys know I love pop culture references and I believe that they show us everything in plain sight in the media. So I want to talk about the movies Onward, the Disney movie Onward that was just released not too long ago actually, and then also the movie Bright with Will Smith. It was on Netflix, okay? So there's something that these movies have in common, and it's that they're introducing the integration of species. Okay, so I'm going to start with Onward because I'm titling this movie or this video Onward. Okay, so in Onward by Disney, it's an animated kid movie, okay, and it basically shows you the different species of like the different species of creatures all living together in harmony, okay? So there are like gnomes, and there are fairies, and there are unicorns, and there are pixies, and there are, you know, there are centaurs, and, you know, all of the magical creatures, they all live together in harmony, right? And I truly believe that this movie is called Onward because this is showing the evolution of the human species. Not saying that eventually we're going to turn into these species, but I'm saying we already are these species. We already are these different species embodying human avatars. We're already the centaurs, we're already the fairies, we're already the gnomes, we're already the sprites, we're already these different entities embodying, incarnated into these human avatars, okay? So try and wrap your head around that. And again, they show us all these things in plain sight. So I didn't just get this download from Onward. I got it also from the movie Bright with Will Smith. And in that movie, there is, and it's a live action, so it's really cool to see. They show you the integration of species, okay, into our society. So now we have humans, and we have sprites, and we have, sorry guys, I didn't like goblins, right? I didn't remember all the different species and entities, but I do remember in the movie Bright, they have this, I don't even know, they're like ogre, I don't know what they are, I can't recall, but you guys watch the movie and you'll know what I'm talking about. They had like these ogre creatures, and they were like the criminalized creatures. You could really compare them to black people in society, how they put these ogre creatures into the ghettos. They live in the ghettos, you know, like they see them together hanging out, chilling on the side of the roads. They see them on the news, you know, posted up, making them look really bad. You know what I mean? But really, they're not bad. They're just another form of creature. So this is why I'm talking about having compassion and being judgment free, because we as a society cannot and I was watching Gigi Young, and she talks a lot about disclosure about like alien presence, alien life form, and like disclosure meaning like the more we evolve as a species, the more these extraterrestrial life forms can begin to open themselves up to us and let us be known to them. But because we as humans, we do not accept ourselves, so we're judging each other, they do not feel like we are an evolved enough life form or life species to interact with. You know, like they try to do like subtle drops and subtle hints, like, you know, subtle UFOs and subtle, you know, sightings and subtle things like that. And even like now in the media, they really are trying to get us comfortable with the idea of aliens and extraterrestrials. Like the Butterfingers commercials has aliens on it, the Red Bull commercials have aliens on it, so they already know this is coming, okay? They're like rolling it out, trying to get us used to and comfortable with the idea of other life forms that are not human, right? So this is just, it is what it is. But because, again, we as human species judge each other so much, we judge ourselves so much, we don't accept ourselves, okay? We're judging them over there for being black, and we're judging them over there for being white, and we're judging them over there for being Hispanic, and we're judging them over there for being Asian, right? And so because we have so much hate and resistance towards each other, which again all comes from hate and resistance within ourselves, as much as we try to say, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself, if we really did truly love ourselves, we wouldn't see the mirror reflection of what our world is today looking the way that it is, because it all starts with ourselves. It starts with the one, right? So if I no longer judge myself, hate myself, talk down to myself, degrade myself, then I will no longer do that to others, because I cannot give you what I do not give to myself. I cannot put out what I do not hold within myself. So if I do not hold judgment within myself and I have compassion for myself, I will have compassion for others. And again, the reason why this is so significant, having compassion for others, is because if we want to evolve as a species, as a human consciousness, as a collective, these are just things that we have to understand. Compassion, love, oneness. When we get on board with these concepts, we can begin to have more disclosure, more alien activity, more other creature activity. becoming aware and, desensitized to more life forms, different life forms. Okay, and I hope I didn't like freak anybody out by talking about like alien disclosure or anything like that. Like, this just is what it is, and you can't really talk about spirituality without talking about the higher evolved forms of the human species, right? And that's kind of what I see aliens are. Aliens are the higher evolved version of ourselves. And why do they want to come back and make contact with us here? Because maybe they have insight from the future or from wherever they are from that will really help us switch the direction in which our consciousness is going, okay, through this disclosure, through understanding there's more out there than this 3D consciousness, or than this 3D world. If we can understand there's so much more out there, okay, then we will stop fighting about the stupid, minuscule little things on our little 3D platform, right? Like, there's more. And again, if we cannot accept each other for our race, ethnicity, whatever, how can we expect to accept somebody who is a completely different species? Again, this is what it's all about: compassion, no judgment, love. Okay, and here's the last thing I wanted to say, since I did mention, actually no, this is not even the last thing, but I did want to mention those two movies, and also Halloween Town. And you guys could probably list your own, or make your own list of the movies where they show the integration of the different species living together. And I'm gonna cut forward and tell you guys why I believe that there are different species living together. So I had this download. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and skip right to this. I had this download, and it was about, how a lot of us spiritual awoken people will have like they'll feel like the black sheep in their family, or they don't fit in with their family, or they feel so highly judged by their family, yada yada, right? I think this is the case because, again, in a family, we think that we're all human, but we're not. We're different species and different entities and different types of species in these human avatars, right? So it's like you don't get along with your mom because she's a unicorn, and you're an angel, and your dad is a sprite, and your sister is a fairy, and you know what I mean? And your cousin is a dragon, and all together you guys are just all these energies living together in this house. And of course there's so much friction because we know on a higher level that we're not the same. It's not just our mentalities are not the same, our ideologies are not the same, but we come from different star seeds, and we all come together, or we come from different star systems, okay? We're star seeds from different star systems, and we all choose to come together. We choose our families, we choose our friends, we choose the situations and experiences, like okay, I'm really trying to make this make sense. Okay, the family is made up of all these different species or creatures. You might be asking, well, why did we all choose to come together? You chose to come together because in unicorn land, there are lessons that you cannot learn that you would only learn in Centaur land. And in Centaur land, there are lessons that you would only learn if you were in Gnome land. And in Gnome land, there are lessons you will only learn if you're in Gnome land, right? So we all come together from these different star systems, these different planets, these different, you know what I mean? We all come together on Earth because Earth is the arena. We choose our star team, our star family. We say, okay, we're going to pretend to be family in this existence, right? And we're going to do this because you're going to teach me this, and I'm going to teach you that. And we're going to learn how to love each other and to collaborate even though we think so differently. Again, going back to having compassion and not being judgmental. You cannot judge your family members because they are not spiritually awoken and you are. You're here so that you can teach them, not by forcing the knowledge into them, but by showing them how you live, how you choose to live, how you choose to exist, right? And through them seeing the light within your life, they are going to begin to learn. So we don't have to force our ideas and anything onto anybody. We don't have to force it. By living in integrity, by living in your truth, we're going to teach each other. The better you get at living your life, the more you can help to change the world, okay? So again, families are made up of different entities, and we all come together because we know that we're going to teach each other the most. We chose each other. We knew we were going to be different, because how can we learn if we're all the same? We're not going to learn. Okay, that's why the spiritual person has so much like hardship in their family sometimes, or they feel like they're not understood, because you chose to be around these group of people because you have something they don't have, and they have something you don't have. And when we all take down the judgment, the barriers, the boundaries, and just learn to live with each other, learn to love each other, learn to have compassion for each other, even if we don't think the same, we are going to evolve. Okay, everything is already here. It's already laid out. The different species are already here. They're already laid out. The different entities are already here, already laid out. Okay, so you might be an angel on the inside, or you could be a fairy on the inside, or you could be, I don't know, I need to look up all the entities or whatever, right? You could be a mermaid on the inside. Who knows, right? We chose to come together here on earth because earth is the arena. Okay, you know how they say the different principalities? Ooh, download. Okay. You know how they say that the different planets represent different energies, right? Every planet has a different energy, right? So these ideas and concepts, these principalities, these mentalities, these belief systems, they cannot exist. Well, they exist in the thought realms, in the mental realms, but we all come here to earth. Earth is one of the many arenas. It's not the only one. And when I mean arena, I mean a 3D place to see these ideologies come to play, right? The darkness and light come to earth to play. You know what I mean? Like these mindsets, these belief systems, they come to earth to play because they're already consciously exist, okay? The mental realm, these thoughts, they already exist in thought form, in gas form. Like the other planets are mostly what? Gas, right? They're gaseous planets. Gas also is representative of the thoughts, okay? Air, thoughts. In the tarot, air is corresponded with the thoughts or the words, right? So it's like all these thoughts, all these ideologies, all these beliefs are just swirling. You can think about it like on different planets they're swirling, or just like in the mental plane they're just swirling. In the mental plane they're just swirling, but we all come, like we'll think about this, like celestial teams will pick people, pick entities, pick individuals, and say, hey, do you want to go on this quest? You're going to earth because we need you to play out the idea of compassion on earth. We need you to play out the idea of love on earth. We need you to play out the idea of unity on earth. Okay, this is your mission as a star seed. You're gonna forget that you're going to earth to have this mission as a star seed, okay? And then you go through the channels, go through the ether, go through your mother's waters, go through her portal. You're here, you're on earth, and you forget everything, and you're a human. And this is kind of what levels the playing field, making everybody here human, right? Even though we know deep down we all have different gifts and talents because we're all from different systems, star systems. We're all from different places, right? But again, coming here, all having this physical earth body, to come back to the idea of oneness and to the idea of unity, right? And then we start to come back alive to our purpose, or why we're here on earth. We're slowly coming back alive to it through the things that we encounter. And then we come alive to our purpose, right? And then we're like, oh yeah, I remember, I'm here because I'm supposed to promote oneness. I'm here because I'm supposed to promote unity. I'm here because X, Y, and Z. I play out my role here on earth. I die. I shoot back, I go back to my starseed family, and I report back to them. This is what I experienced. This is what happened on earth. This is, and it's kind of like, again, the 3D is a heavier density, but it also is the physical manifestation of what has happened in the mental realms, or on the 4D, 5D, you know what I mean? All the higher, lighter realms, okay? This is the heaviest realm. So that is why we would choose to come here, earth, the earth arena to kind of iron all these scenarios out. Like, how would it play out? Good versus evil. What would happen if this happened to this person? And what would happen if, you know what I mean? Like, it's all happening to play out these scenarios, but to see if you can come back to why you chose to come here in this first place. Okay? We choose to learn lessons from each other. So when you're triggered by what's going on in the world, like, oh my God, this election is so triggering, or the way people are thinking now is so triggering, or, you know, the way that we're on lockdown as a society is so triggering. Understand that all of this is happening. This is the arena. This is the arena, okay? And we all came with a little map from where we all originated from as to what our purpose was here. And it's our job, our duty, our responsibility to uncover what that map says your reason is for being here. Because when you go back to your star system, you're going to have something to report, okay? So yeah, we choose each other as teachers, okay? And remember that when you judge others, you're really just judging yourself. So that's why I think in the Bible, Jesus says, judge not. And again, I'm really about to go back, because I was so turned off by religion because of how I grew up, but I'm going to go back, and I really want to study the ascended master of Jesus, because I understand now it's not about him as, you know, the Father, the Son, you know, it's not just about that. He really was one of the first empaths, and he knew about compassion and about love. And so again, if we study the ascended masters, we don't have to start from scratch, okay? They already were consciously elevated in their time, okay? That's why they became the ascended masters, or they became so revered, like the Buddha, or Jesus, or Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, like all these characters, even Muhammad, all these characters, they've unlocked something consciously in the grid. And so we can go back and study them, okay? We don't have to get tripped up in religion. We can just study the nuggets of what they had to offer. So yeah, that was my download, you guys. That was my video. Onward is representing of the onward progression of the human experience, the onward progression of humanity and of the collective consciousness, and also becoming awake and aware of the fact that we are all different species coming together in human bodies and human experiences. And the sooner we have compassion for ourselves, the sooner we can have compassion for others, the sooner we will really see things change on the earth and on the planet. And that is what it is, okay? So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thumbs up if you did, and let me know down in the comments, did anything come online for you during this chat? I will be waiting for our next video. So yeah, bye guys.